Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And on today's episode, a Spanish farmer from about 300 years ago is finally vindicated after his theory that a Roman forum was just outside of his small village in Spain is finally proven right. Hundreds of years after the fact. That's got to be the most validating thing. I hope wherever
Yeah.
he is, he's able to hear this.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the late 1700s, and for those of you watching in the US, that's around the time America came to be.
Woo! Freedom! Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a man in this place called Spain. His name was Juan Vegazo. He was a farmer, he was an amateur historian, and he believed that in his town of Ubrique, which is in the province of Cadiz, there was a Roman forum. And recent news these past few years from Pompeii, from excavations there, have sort of sparked a renewal of interest in various Roman sites around Europe. And because of that, people finally decided, hey, let's send some archaeologists out and investigate this claim. And, well, they found a whole lot more than they bargained for.
It's interesting because the excavations of Pompeii were taken up by a group of basically amateur archaeologists whose main goal and intention was just to explore and they would just dig through anything. And it wasn't until centuries later that they found the pockets, but it had a really cool revival, and it this truly sparked the field of archaeology because this garnered so much public interest that people began looking around them going, hey, I wonder what's happening around here. And that's exactly what this was. And Vegazo did manage to buy up the limestone hills and did do some level of excavation, so he's one of the very first archaeologists. And he uncovered inscriptions that related to second century emperors, the name for the city, which is Okuri, and laid foundations for future archaeologists to uncover defensive walls, baths, and even a mausoleum. But
Yep.
his vision remained incomplete, and then more recently, archaeologists from the University of Granada, in coordination with the town of Ubrique, researchers have uncovered architectural elements in Okuri that point to a large public forum that would have served as a place of gathering, socializing, and speech making. And then you have pictures from the excavation here, which is honestly incredible.
Yep. Yeah, and the big key to it, which I believe is being shown here in the first picture, is there's a 50-foot long wall that is believed to encircle the forum, or go down the side of it at the very least, and that is I believe what we are looking at in the first photo here, and that's kind of key to it, um, in large parts because it is the beginning of a ceremonial complex along the forum with a lot of shrines and altars and things that were missing from the original 1700s amateur investigation and excavations. Was where's the forum, where's where are all these works, and we found them. And the reason we didn't find them is because the city is a very large amount bigger than what anyone thought it should be. It's a much bigger settlement.
But it's also pretty cool, in my opinion, and the article brushes on this briefly, but it shows this mixing of Roman and southern Iberian culture. I mean, it shows Roman settlement of the Iberian Peninsula and how they did so and the type of fortification. So finding the remains of cities tells you a lot because you could tell what areas of the city were very prominent, were very important because they're usually in centralized, very high up locations, and the defensive fortifications. It's really cool, and because of its hilltop nature, they believe that it's actually predating the Romans in this area, and that it was both a physical and cultural absorption when the Romans came in. And this site was inhabited until the 4th century CE. That It's pretty cool because they found coins on site, which is incredible, and they had a Christogram, which is one of the earliest forms of Christian iconography, deployed by Constantine the First in 312 CE.
Yeah. Effectively, what they've confirmed is that this was a decently sized trade hub for the Romans, specifically for getting goods inland into Spain. Uh, it appears that it was largely North African goods that were imported into Spain from this city, at least up until the third century, which is when Rome has the third century crisis, and there's something like 50 emperors in 50 years.
Oh, jeez.
It's it gets really bad.
You get a
Um,
turn. You get a turn.
yeah, yeah, it gets really bad that during that time. But this would be typical of how the Romans would have interacted with Spain and would have treated Spain. It's a very enduring relationship. It lasts a good 300 years, and it's just the idea of effectively using Spain as a inroads for the center of the Iberian Peninsula. Just import everything through the coast, use your boats, and project power inland.
I mean, to be fair, with the North African link, you can see quite a bit just how important of a trade route that was. I mean, in previous videos, we've talked about the importance and influence of Mansa Musa. I mean, this is just another link in that same very similar trade route of Europe trading and funneling goods through North Africa and vice versa. I mean, it's such a vital trade route that I think is historically underrepresented in favor of other major trade routes, usually through Italy or through the Middle East.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People tend to like the was it the Silk Road, or even we've talked about a little bit at some points the Incense Road, but nobody ever really wants to mention the road along the coast of Africa. That is the Salt Road.
Is that, oh, the Salt Road? Interesting.
Yeah, because it goes to the salt mines and what becomes Mali, and
Oh.
gets Mansa Musa and all that. So it's the salt. It's the salt. It starts in like at the Strait of Gibraltar, goes
Yeah.
down through Morocco into Mali, and that's how you get salt and other goods from sub-Saharan Africa up into Europe without using the Nile.
But one of the things I personally find very fascinating, and this is true across the world, is these trade networks and these trade routes hold such importance and are just so difficult to try and track down that once you have the evidence of it, it's very cool and can lead you to find certain discoveries of the dissemination of technology, the dissemination of ideas. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
trade wasn't just physical.
Yeah, even just that, forgetting even that, just to understand how important the trade that would have been coming through this city is. Rome is known for its military might and for its soldiers. That's its number one export and its number one industry. Most Roman soldiers got paid in foodstuffs, specifically seasonings like salt. They would pay you in salt. So this is where the salt. This is how the salt gets into the Roman Empire. So
Yeah.
this is important. This is literally what we are paying our army with.
Which at
For
that
the
point,
Romans.
salt was worth more than gold. Fun fact.
Yep. Which is why you could pay people with it.
And yeah, I think that's actually a great point for us to wrap up. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you thought down below, and we'll see you in the next video.